They could have built Singapore. You know what they did? They took larger foreign aid per capita than all of Europe received from the Marshall Plan. And look what France and Britain, look how beautiful London is. They took that money and they bought bullets and bombs. They did not build hospitals, not schools. They stole it from the Palestinian people. Ismail Haniyeh is worth $4 billion.
I don't care about
Khalid Mashal is worth $4 billion.
Why are you talking about him?
Call him an evil criminal. You're afraid to. He says he won't. You see, he will never condemn Hamas because
he has condemned.
No, go ahead.
I've
heard him do it.
Excuse me.
No. He condemned Hamas's attack. He's never condemned Hamas.
Well, let me ask you: do you condemn Hamas?
On what basis?
Here we go. See,
hold on.
Play his game.
Do you accept now?
Let me ask you a question.
Every answer is on what basis? On what this? What's your source?
Even if you ask me, if you do condemn the IDF, I'll say specify your context. In what exact context
do you defend Hamas as a terrorist organization that just went and killed 1,200 people, burned them alive, beheaded them, and took 250 hostages? Do you condemn them or not? Do you condemn them or not? Get your head into the debate, and do you condemn them or not? See, this is a debating tactic.
It's 2-on-1 now.
Let him answer. Let him answer.
It's 2-on-1. It's become 2-on-1.
Let him answer.
You're not a victim. Stop the victim, but now it's 2-on-1. Stop the victim. You love portraying yourself as a strong man. Now you're a victim, it's 2-on-1. You probably could take 2-on-1. So answer it. Answer the question. Is Hamas a terror organization you condemn? Yes,
is that something you and your
Is
daughter
Hamas a terror organization
that
you...
It's a reasonable question because you asked me, is the IDF a terror
Okay, beautiful. I'll answer your question directly. Hamas is as much a terrorist organization. No, Hamas shouldn't be called a terror organization if the IDF isn't. Why? Okay. Because if it's either both or not.
There we go. This is
either both or neither.
Okay, but just to extrapolate your position, because you believe the IDF is, then you're also saying that Hamas is.
Let me tell you my position.
Say it. Say it.
I'm not going to speak.
Rabbi Shmuley, let me get the answer.
The unholy Shmuley won't let me speak.
Right, I'm asking you a question.
My answer is the first run you did the whole time. Maybe we could be friends.
Let me ask
it again.
Given you've already stated you believe the IDF is a terror organisation.
Yeah.
Am I to assume
legally or morally?
that you believe...
Legally or morally?
Well, hang on.
Go on.
Am I to assume that you believe Hamas is now?
No, this is my position. But you have to give me 10 seconds at least to answer, right? Legally, I think you shouldn't call Hamas a terrorist organization if you're not calling IDF a terrorist organization. That's my position.
But you do both. Call them terror organizations.
Hold on.
Let him answer.
Hold on, let me finish. Because as we said, the UN definition of what a terrorist organization is to kill civilians in order to achieve a political objective. However, on a moral and theological, philosophical level, I agree with Rosalind Higgins, who was the justice of the International Criminal Court, right? The Court of Justice, ICJ, a British justice. By the way, she was a Holocaust survivor as well. She was Jewish. And her position is that she believes that the word terrorism or terrorist is actually useless. And she says that it's... I'm putting to her...
Can you answer my question?
He's going on for 10 minutes just to evade the question.
Let me finish. So I'm answering your question. So I'm saying that as a moral construct, I think it's a neo-colonial social construct used by people in order to label some people as terrorists and other people as well. So as a moral category, I don't designate it as a moral category. As a legal category.
Do you believe, you personally, Mohammed Hijab, do you believe that the IDF and Hamas are both terror organizations?
I think yes. If you say yes to IDF, you should say yes to Hamas. If you say no to IDF,
I'm asking you what you
Hamas
believe.
is a terrorist organization.
What you believe.
If you say yes to IDF, you can say yes to Hamas.
I'm asking you what you believe.
Yes, I believe legally, according to the definition, if you say yes to Hamas, you can say yes to the IDF.
Pierce, we could go on for the next...
We are going to the next...
But if you say no to the IDF, you can't say yes.
It's fine. We're going to the next block. But that's interesting.
But morally, I don't believe the category has any weight.
No, but you
morally, it has no designation.
But you have made your position clear, which is that you believe they're both terror organizations.
I believe that according to the law, absolutely.
Okay, and that's interesting to me. Okay,
but I have to say,
wait. Let's come to
when you call the IDF a terror organization, the IDF keeps 1.8 million Arabs alive in Israel.
100-to-1 ratio.
The Hamas, this is invention. It's a fabrication.
Let me move on to the last
Get more pictures out. It's unbelievable.
This is how you lose a debate.
I brought nothing with me.
It could be like this.
No, my son is...
He could be dead like that.
My son is in the IDF. You're here in the safety of a studio talking about how you want to do martyrdom. You're really risking your life here, Mom. You're big talk.
Your son could be dead right now. Like
you attack Ben Shapiro's wife.
Your son is an IDF.
You actually posted a clip saying with someone else saying that
Would you
Islam
like your son
teaches
to
you
be
how to
returned
get
in a black
women
bag?
to listen to their husbands.
Your
This
son
is
could
all
be returned in a black
false
bag.
bravado, false machismo.
Your son,
if you're a
Mendy,
real man,
could
go
be
to the
dead.
Middle East and fight. What are you doing in a
do you mean?
television
All
studio?
Fight with who? Fight with
Can
him.
we move to the last one?
You should be there. You have the right to fight with
No,
the
no,
IDF.
I'm not.
You use your son as a human
right.
shield.
You
He's
try
using
to
his son as a
bully
human
people
shield.
in
Enough.
debates, and it's being allowed.
He's using his son as a human
and it's
shield.
I want to
this is
move to the
ridiculous.
last ironically themed subject. Is peace possible? Okay. Not on this basis, right? But we've got to try and get to peace. So you get a minute each again. Mohammed, you'll go first this time. So you get a minute from now.
Okay, so I just wanted to say that this man is...
No. Is peace ever possible?
I've got a minute uninterrupted.
Is peace ever possible?
Can I
Is the
speak
question.
uninterrupted?
No, you've got to speak about the subject.
I can say what? Well, he's been attacking me. I
Don't
can
attack him personally. We're not going to use it. It's pointless. I'm going to take it, just for the record, we'll put it on YouTube so people can see it all in context, right? But on my show, I'm just not going to have half of this, what I thought was going to be a serious debate, taken up with you two personally abusing each other.
Bismarck
it's pointless.
Von Bismarck said, I repay people with the currency that they pay me with.
Right.
If he's going to come with ad hominems, as you've acknowledged, I can come back with ad
Right, but
hominems.
you did, and you shouldn't have done, because you had the high moral ground.
Ad hominems?
Now
I
you
believe
don't.
it's-
This man
No, I
is
believe I can
bringing,
do it.
man is bringing up
You've
Jewish
both been as
sex
bad as each other.
non-stop in
You've
this
both been
entire
as bad
debate.
as
Where
each
have I
other.
even mentioned that?
On the personal stuff, you've been as bad as each other. Let's start again. You get a minute from now. Is peace ever possible? Go.
Justice is a prerequisite for peace. In South Africa, when the apartheid system, which we know for a fact Israel is an apartheid state because it has laws like the right of return, which only allow Jewish people to come into the country. And if they convert, by the way, to Christianity or to Islam, they are stripped from that right, it meets completely the definition of apartheid as per Cornell Law School and according to the UN Convention 1973. It's an apartheid system. And as a prerequisite of an apartheid system, you have to be a racist. If you support that, you're a racist. No doubt about it. So number one, 1973 apartheid law. If the black South Africans have been displaced, by the whites, and then they were trying to come back into their country and they were not allowed, and then you asked them, is peace possible? That's not the question we'd be asking them. We'd be asking them, is justice possible? And that's the question that we're going to be asking. Because he can sit there and talk about all these things where the IDF, his son Mendy is being attacked vibrated by the rockets, and he's selling him and his daughter selling vibrators to the public.
Unnecessary thing at the end again.
I hope you keep that in.
Rabbi
Please keep it
Shirley,
in. Okay.
1 minute on is peace ever possible?
Of course, I revere countries like the United Arab Emirates, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, where I've spoken several times. I am safer as a Jew wearing a yarmulke in Dubai and Abu Dhabi than I am on the campus of Columbia University or even Harvard these days. The Mohammed bin Zayed is just an incredible leader. I saw in the Gulf states the Islam that Mohammed Hijab rejects, but the Islamic world embraces. That's why they made peace with Israel. It's a technologically advanced, tolerant, forward-looking, very traditional, very religious Islam, and that's why they've made peace with Israel, and peace will continue to be made. All of these countries are praying for Israel to destroy Hamas, because Mohammed Hijab is an outlier. He's an extremist, and his views, as he represents them at Speaker's Corner of things about women being subject. Okay. But let me just be clear. All of the Arab countries want Hamas destroyed, and the proof is when they had their conference in Riyadh last week, they did not even once call to bring in any evacuees because they want Israel to establish a more democratic regime in Gaza, which they will do. Israel's winning this war.
Here's my follow-up to both of you, right? Just give me a very, very quick snapshot of in 20 years' time how peace could have been achieved, very quickly.
Okay, the first thing is when Israel withdrew in 2005, almost 20 years ago, if Hamas had not come to power, if they had taken all the international aid that they got, tens of billions of dollars, peace would have been achieved by building businesses, entrepreneurship,
how do we get
schools.
there now?
Okay, we get there now by destroying Hamas, making sure that there's democratic elections, that the Palestinian people, not Mohammed Hijab, not Shmuel B'Tzeach, not Piers
I mean, you
Morgan
both
speak for
agree
them,
Hamas should be gone, right? We can agree on this, right?
We agreed that there should be a bigger Palestinian Authority with armies and
I'll come to you in a moment,
airplanes.
Mohammed. On that, we do have agreement.
And the way we have
They
peace,
should have tanks.
in the history of the world, no two democratic
And rockets.
powers have ever gone to war. That's why since the end of the Second World War, there's been no war here in Europe. We need to see a democratic Gaza. Hamas won an election in 2006.
There's a war in Europe now, by the way, in
Correct,
Ukraine.
because it's against a tyranny. I said no two democracies ever gone to war. Putin is not a democracy, he's a tyrant. In the history of the world, no two democracies ever fought a war. We have a democracy in Gaza.
So what does peace look like in 20 years?
Peace looks like the Arabs voting for their rulers, voting and backing them, seeing Israel as a partner, not not being humiliated that because of this tiny little red dot surrounded that's humiliation.
Two-state solution?
Well, you know, I'll tell you. If two-state solution is a Hamas state wanting to eviscerate Israel,
he doesn't believe in it.
But he doesn't believe in a two-state solution. He believes in a final solution. That's what really scares me. You don't believe in a two-state solution. You believe in a final solution. The way you speak about Jews, you believe in a final solution, and it's scary.
Do you believe in a two-state
I love Jewish
solution?
people.
If that second state is Mexico
Jewish
and
people are
Canada,
fantastic people.
If that second state is Gaza, then of course not, because it'll just become another genocidal enemy wanting to wipe Israel off the map.
That's pretty unequivocal. He doesn't really want a two-state solution.
I don't want a two-state solution. That's a terror state to destroy Israel.
I personally believe this whole question should be left to the Palestinians of what kind of solution they want. However, having said that, this man has written in his book, A War in Israel, that is the settlements.
I didn't write a book called The War in Israel.
It's called the Israel Warrior, something like that.
Thank you. Thanks for plugging it.
Fantastic.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
In that book, he writes that the issue of settlements that me and you both condemn, Piers.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, we do. He doesn't condemn it because he sees an ancient biblical reason to be in that whole land.
I think Arabs and Israelis should be able to live wherever they want. I want Arabs to live in Jerusalem. I want Arabs to live in Tel Aviv. I want Jews to live there. I don't believe in the Judenrein in Israel. I don't believe in Ireland. I am so proud that Israel has 1.8 million Arab Muslim citizens who are protected by the IDF. He calls the IDF a terrorist. They are defending Muslim lives.
What you should be less proud of is the rapid expansion of these settlements on the West Bank. It has been incredibly divisive.
Do you condemn that?
It's been, in my view, illegal. It's been declared illegal.
Illegal by everyone's view.
Well, Piers,
human rights.
There are many things I'll defend Israel about. That is indefensible.
But let me answer. If you go to places in Judea and Samaria and the West Bank,
why do you call it Judea and Samaria?
Because those are the biblical lands.
Who cares?
Why do you call something Arabia? It's where the Arabs are from. Judea is where the Jews are from. Now, you don't know history. It was always Judea and Samaria. The West Bank is the West Bank of a river. We don't call California the West Bank of the Mississippi River. Now, let me go back.
Call it Canaan.
If you go to the Barkan Industrial Park in Judea and Samaria, you will see, I've met the Palestinians, I've interviewed them. They are paid 20 times the salary working for people you call settlers. They want them there. It brings civilization. It's only jihadis who don't want it. It's only jihadis. And that's why you're saying...
That's not true.
Yes, it is true.
That's not true.
I've interviewed them myself.
I know many Palestinians who definitely do not want them to
You know Palestinians who want to live under Mahmoud Abbas with no democracy.
Let me come to Mohammed.
Afraid to criticize him and thrown into jail.
Mohammed.
Yes, my friend Mohammed. Go ahead, Mohammed. Please. You're wearing my favorite blue color. Of course I'll let you speak.
Fantastic. For that reason? Brilliant.
Thank you.
What, just because I'm wearing the blue?
My mother loved that color, and she passed away
I thought it would have been because of Israel, because you...
Oh, that's right. You wore the Israeli colors today.
Can
we shake hands?
No, please. I don't want to, because your hands are shaking. Your hands are shaking.
Sorry, but I mean, look how peaceful.
Why
don't you wouldn't shake my hand?
No, I'll shake hands with you.
You wouldn't shake my hand?
After what you've said today about me, I can't shake your hand. But here's what
After what you said about my sex life, and I'm shaking your hand.
Stop. I just want to say.
You won't shake my hand.
Let him speak.
You won't shake my hand.
Rabbi, let him speak.
That's really sad. I guess there will be no peace.
You know, what he said there is a little bit telling, because you know the blue colors in Israel and all that kind of stuff. He defended Dershowitz, which was Jeffrey Epstein's lawyer, for that very reason, because he's a supporter of Israel.
I defended Dershowitz. Dershowitz and I fought over him going to Qatar. You don't know anything.
You wrote it on the Observer.
You're abysmal. Ignorance is shocking. Me and Alan Dershowitz had a huge fight over him defending Qatar.
Did you go to the island?
Come on, guys. Get back to topic.
Did you go to the island?
Mohammed. Anyway, 20 years time.
Mohammed.
20 years time. No, I don't care about Alan Dershowitz. I know Alan Dershowitz. We're not going to use the stuff about Alan Dershowitz. Forget it.
What is your obsession with sex? I don't get it.
I'm not going to use any of both of you seem totally obsessed with sex.
Unbelievable. Well, I wrote a book called Kosher Sex for Marriages. I didn't write it to get into other people's bedrooms.
I don't care about either of your sex lives. Okay?
He seems pretty interested in mine.
20 years' time.
I'm not interested.
20 years' time, what does the potential peace look like?
I don't know. But that's a speculative question, to be honest. You're asking me a hypothetical.
Two-state solution?
I don't know. You're asking me a hypothetical question.
I
asked you a hypothetical. You said I don't do hypotheticals.
I wanted to give me hope.
Why did you not answer my hypothetical question? If you're asking me a hypothetical question, the Belfast question. Why?
Huh?
Remember, I asked you the Belfast question and you didn't answer it.
I don't think there is. The only parallel.
Why didn't you answer that one?
Because they're different situations.
No, but it's hypothetical. You're asking me a hypothetical now. Why?
Well, you have to answer. I'm just asking you.
No, but why do you have a double standard?
I don't think asking you how peace might look like is hypothetical.
No, it's talking about the future in a hypothetical.
How would you like? Let me rephrase it. How would you like it to be resolved, this crisis?
Okay, fantastic.
Okay?
Okay, look. Yeah, let's look at history.
River to the sea. That's how you want it, right? No Israel.
Let him answer. Don't answer for him.
Honestly, you'll be surprised to know this. and people talk about, you said this, I have to correct you. I looked at the Hamas charter, Hamas themselves, yeah? In Article 16, even they say you can have, in Article 31, they say that you can have peace between, they can have a shared land between Christians, Muslims, and Jews. They even say that. I think the most radical elements, everybody you want, the jihadis, these one, that one, no one actually wants the extermination of Jewish people. That's a lie.
Actually, that's not true.
The Hamas charter. Wait. Now, let me speak.
I'll tell you
the Hamas charter. Let me speak.
I'll tell you
Hamas charter calls for the Hamas
people,
charter says that behind every single tree and stone where a Jew.
That's hadith of the Prophet.
Now you're saying that the Prophet Muhammad said that? It says that every Jew has to be murdered. How can you possibly deny that?
That's hadith.
You know, you have. What's the hadith say?
The hadith says in the end of time, it's an eschatological hadith.
Yes, go ahead.
It's an eschatological hadith which says that on the end of times there'll be a war. And there will be trees and stones that say behind me is a Jew killing.
So Muhammad is saying that the Jews should be killed?
This is a hadith which has been misinterpreted.
What does it mean?
So,
what does it mean? What does it mean?
No, it means that it's an eschatological. It's not an imperative.
What does it mean?
It's not an imperative.
Are you obligated to kill a Jew according to the hadith? You're not. Okay.
I'll tell you.
But they don't
Wait a
determine
minute.
like
Pick and choose.
They
You
don't
pick and choose.
No, excuse me.
Let me
ask you a question.
Yes.
Let me ask you a question. Is this a theological question? So I'm answering you. This hadith is called an eschatological. You know this because you're a theologian. It's an eschatological hadith. It's not talking about.
It's not literal.
It's not It's not like 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse number 3, where it says, "Go and kill the men, women, children, donkeys, and oxen." Which, by the way, Netanyahu quoted.
No,
Amalek.
that's not true.
He quoted Amalek. He said you can kill them 1 minute. It's not like that.
See, this is the blood libel of saying the Jews want to.
Can I get a word in here?
But Pierce,
let me put a point.
I'm
going to put a point to Mohammed.
Of course.
I'll tell you who wants the absolute annihilation of every Jew they can get their hands on. All the Hamas terrorists who crossed the border on October the 7th, who gleefully recorded it, boasted about it, and the Hamas official, wait a minute, and the Hamas official spokesman, who only last week said they want to do it again and again and again. If you don't think Hamas are wedded as an organisation to the annihilation of Jewish people, you are living in
their charter. In their charter, it says that they will murder every Jew in London.
They've showed us what they want to do.
That I agree with. Hold on. Let me tell you why I agree or disagree. Both the IDF and Hamas, on paper, say they don't want the annihilation of Muslims and Jews.
No. The Hamas charter says that's not true. I'm not going to. The Hamas charter says explicitly that every Jew will be murdered by Hamas. They are a genocidal charter. Yes, it is. And you're not. You're lying. I'm sorry. It's not true.
Nobody can hear either of you. Right, the point is, in my estimation, after October the 7th, Hamas are now a openly boastful, genocidal bunch of terrorists.
Yes,
with
terrorists calling their parents and saying, I killed 10 Jews.
I just said
the Likud party in 1999 had the charter, and in it they said they want the whole of Israel, including, as he believes, the West Bank and Gaza and everything. If we are going to, because there is...
Did they say they would kill Arabs? Arabs are equal citizens. Arabs will be equal citizens.
Let me finish. They're not equal because there's apartheid laws.
No, there's no apartheid law. The apartheid law. So let me explain that.
No, let me get to the point.
You can go to Portugal and Spain and show that if you have ancestry, they give you citizenship. That's Israel. If you have Jewish interest. No, every country. Listen, this is the country.
Arabs or not?
Muhammad. Muhammad, let me speak. We live in a Christian country where the sovereign head of state is a Christian. I'm a Jew. I never felt alienated from the fact that this is a Christian country. Arabs live as equal citizens in the Jewish state. You're a Muslim.
Wait a minute, I'm going to come to
the astonishing thing is...
We can actually ask each other questions now.
Muhammad had 2 Jewish wives, but you won't shake the hand of a Jew. And you know why? That's not Islam. That's Islamism. Islamism is deeply anti-Semitic, and it's sad.
We're going to the final part. The final part is where I want to try and end this, right? It's been acrimonious. It's been passionate. I'm not sure we've achieved very much, certainly not as much as I hoped to. I think we're all agreed that Hamas need to go. Many would perhaps agree Netanyahu should also have to go.
He doesn't, he's his friend.
Right, well, I personally think the will of the Israeli people.
His friend, right?
Democratically elected leader, I believe in
Hamas
democracy.
democratically elected.
Hamas is a dictatorship. They ended elections a year after they're a dictatorship. That's why Mahmoud Abbas will not go there. He's afraid of them.
Let me finish.
You can't just offer these fraudulences and not be challenged.
We're coming to the final block. This final block doesn't have a thing. I just want to see if we can get to any points of agreement. right? We've had all the arguments. You've shouted at each other. You've personally abused each other, right? You're passionate. You've raised some good points, but they've been mostly shouted out.
I just want to know how he would feel if his son comes back in a black bag
you've
like
shown
this.
us the pictures, right?
That's such a disgusting.
By the way,
how would you like it?
Wait,
Mohammed,
can we make sure this stays in the show?
I'd like it as much as the pictures.
My son, you know how low that you get? You
So you get
attack
angry with your son, you don't get angry with
Shapiro's
this.
wife. You're not a real man. Real men don't attack
How
women.
comes you don't get angry
Real
with this?
men don't tell us
How
that
comes you don't get angry
5-year-old
with this?
girls can have sex. Real men
I
don't
didn't say
speak
that.
about another. Yes, you did.
Your
You
son
said
could
it.
be
It's
like
on
this.
my Instagram.
Would you-
Don't say that
why are you using
5-year-old
son as human
girls,
shield?
prepubescent, should have
Why are
sex.
you getting angry with them on the
You
Palestinians?
are talking about my
Your
son because you're
your
not
son.
a real man.
All right, whatever.
You're a
Why
bully.
don't you fight an
And
IDF?
if you really
Why don't you
believe,
fight
and
the
if you
IDF?
really believe
Why'd you
in
push
your
your son as a
martyrdom,
human shield?
you would not be in the safety of
Why don't you put your son as a human shield?
a
You're the
studio
one.
in London.
You can
Do
find
not
the
bring
IDF.
up my son.
Mendy's
Do
here.
not bring
Imagine
up
that's
Ben
Mendy.
Shapiro's wife.
Imagine this is
Stop
Mendy.
picking on women.
Imagine this is Mendy.
Stop. See, you want
Imagine
a
this is
civil
Mendy.
debate, but
Imagine
imagine
this
a
is
man
Mendy.
saying that
Listen.
your son is dead.
Listen.
You
Imagine
have
your son is
no
dead.
morality.
Imagine
You
that.
have no
Take
decency.
a look at that.
You have no
Imagine that's
goodness.
your son.
And this
All right,
debate is
imagine that's your
apart
son.
because
Put the
this
pictures
man
down.
is here
I can spend-
to
I can-
speak
wait
about
a
my
minute.
sex life. He's here to say my son's going to die. He is a Jew hater. He's an anti-Semite. He's an Islamist. And the fact that
I'm
this
more
debate
Semitic
has
than you'll
gone
ever be, my
along
friend.
this way, allowing
You're
him to evade
European.
every question.
You come from European extraction. Are you Polish?
Fabricate.
Are you Polish?
My father's from Iran, my friend. You know
Yeah.
nothing
Like, you're
about
Ashkenazi.
me. Okay?
You're Ashkenazi.
My father's from Iran.
Yes,
My
yes,
father
yes. What
was
about your
raised
mother?
around
Your
Muslims.
mother?
And he didn't meet Muslims like
I'm
you.
more
They were
Semitic than
Muslims
you
who
are.
tolerated
I'm more
people.
Semitic than
The
you are.
fact that
What is
he
the
is
point
allowed-
of this?
The fact that he's been allowed to offer fabrications of Jews killing 3
Imagine
million
this is your
people.
son.
The fact that he's allowed
Imagine.
to offer fabrications
Imagine this is your son.
that have no source, that the
Come back in a
IDF is
black
killing
bag.
1,000 to 1. The fact that he's been allowed to tell his lies is a travesty of this show. It's a travesty
Imagine
of
this
the
is your
media.
son.
The fact that he has not
Imagine
been
that's your-
challenged by
imagine
you,
that's your
Pierce,
son.
is unacceptable.
You know one of the
He has
problems-
evaded every question.
You
The
know-
fact that he's
Imagine this
allowed
is
to
your
talk
son.
about my sex life,
Imagine
Jewish
this is your
sex
son.
life, he's obsessed with people's sex
Imagine
lives.
this was your
This is
son.
a travesty. And the fact that
Mendy.
you're not ashamed
Using
of
him as
how,
human shield.
and the
All right.
fact that you are not ashamed
Have
of
you
how
finished?
you
Let him speak.
Have
how
you finished?
humiliate
Shut up,
Islam.
shut up,
Islam
shut
is
up.
a
You know
great
what?
world
You know
religion.
what,
This is
Rabbi
wrong.
Shmuley?
And Muslims should reject this
All
man.
right,
Not me. Not the rabbi. Muslims
all
should
right,
reject this man.
It would be a lot easier for me to challenge him, which I have done repeatedly, and actually
let him evade
Here, his
and
answers.
evade and evade
If you
and
allowed
evade.
me to do my job rather than shout over
From
every
day
single
one,
thing
he was
says.
interviewing you, Pierce. From the first
he
second, he was
wasn't.
asking
No, he
you
wasn't.
He
questions.
wasn't.
No, I wasn't.
He was asking me
It
a
was the first
perfectly.
question.
He was asking me a perfectly legitimate question, which I was trying to answer, but you kept shouting, as you have done for the entire show.
This is
So
not, this is not a debate.
When you say
a debate that talks about my
And the pair
sex
of you-
life,
the pair
attacks
of you-
women, says my children
the
are going to
pair of
die.
you-
This is not a
For God's
debate.
sake, put the pictures down.
This is a man who
The
cannot
pair-
debate. He has to bring
Rabbi
in these
Shmuley-
pictures. Why don't you make
I agree.
arguments instead of showing pictures?
down.
Rabbi
What is
Shmuley-
this drama?
Rabbi
Why do you
Shmuley-
have to show these
Control
pictures?
yourself.
Why don't the pair of you-
Why don't you care about
down.
Muslims being killed by Hamas
All right.
for 17 years, stealing their money?
Should we just
Why
forget
doesn't it bother
this?
you that it's Ishmael Haniyeh is worth $4 billion?
Shall we? Do you want to even conclude this? Because it's pointless.
It's not me that's speaking.
I mean, in a way, what do either of you think you've achieved with this?
You know what
The
I've achieved?
constant personal
I'll answer
abuse.
that. I'll answer.
The constant personal abuse.
I'll answer. Can I answer that question?
That's a rhetorical question.
I'll tell you what I've achieved. People like Islamists like Muhammad Hijab, and you can answer. If you don't interrupt me,
personal abuse.
I'll finish with this, and then you can speak. They believe that Israel is going to disappear. They believe that we Jews are afraid of them. They believe that we Jews won't debate them. They believe that we tremble. He did a video last week
I was
where he
gonna say
said,
Jews.
"Did you see how they tremble?"
Who's they?
I have seen. Who
Who's
are
they?
they? Who are they?
I was going to say Jews.
Who did you mean?
So why did you?
Who did you mean?
infer
He meant the Jews. He won't even say it.
Anti-Semitism can't.
You know why I'm here?
Weak.
You know why I'm here?
You're
Wait, let me
weak.
finish. You know why I'm here?
Anti-Semitism
You know why
can't.
I'm here? I'm here to show
To shut the debate down because you're
that
weak.
we have
you're weak, just like your
stared
son.
down
Your
the
son, the coward.
Assyrians.
Your son, the
We
coward, the
have
IDF
stared
coward.
down the
It might be
Babylonians.
like this.
We have stared
Your son, the
down
IDF
the
coward that
Romans.
might be come
We
back in
have
a black
stared
bag.
down the Greeks. We will stare down Muhammad
we?
Hijab
You
and
can
the
do anything.
Islamists.
You go fight with your son.
Forever.
Go fight with your
We are
son.
the eternal nation. So
Go fight
you
with
know
your
what I've
son.
achieved? I've shown people like him that we are going nowhere. We're not
Who's we?
afraid of them. We don't tremble. We're not afraid. And if we haven't achieved a constructive dialogue, we've tried with the Palestinians for 75 years. We offered them a two-state solution, 1936.
I don't
appeal
think you've
commission.
made
No, you
any
didn't.
attempt
No,
to
no,
civilize
excuse me,
dialogue.
excuse me.
Come on, this
No,
was
no,
never
you haven't.
civilized
Hold
from
on.
the first
Can you
moment.
have it?
Okay, this was
Actually, it
never
was.
civilized.
Actually, it was.
Piers, can I just
Actually, it
can I
was.
respond to that?
This was never civilized.
Forget about all this.
A man
Wait,
accusing Israel of killing 3 million Palestinians
That's
is a
not what he
fraudulent
said.
lie.
I didn't
That's
say
not
that.
A
what he
man who
said.
cannot
Stop,
cite
stop.
sources is
I
a
don't
liar.
care. I don't care.
He's saying
Cancel me.
that Israel's an apartheid
I'm immune
state.
to this. Of course they're apartheid.
20% of the
Mohammed,
soldiers
what do
fighting
you
for
want to
Israel are
say?
black, by the way.
What do you want to say?
Yeah, they're black, and if you look at the Haaretz newspapers, they're treated as second-class citizens.
Mohammed, what do you want to say in conclusion?
Hold on. I want to say something that he said about the Peel report in 1936, which is a point of historical contention. He doesn't know that, he mentions this in his book as well, he's mentioned it before, 7 times that the Palestinians want peace. He doesn't know what history is, because let me respond to you. In 1936 and 1937, where the Peel report happened under the premiership of Ramsay MacDonald, and then 1939, when the White Paper took place under the premiership of Neville Chamberlain, actually, the Arab Higher Committee, which represented the voice of the Palestinian people, agreed with the conclusions of the Peel report. In 1947, the Arab League agreed with the conclusions of the Peel report. He doesn't know that because
There's no truth to that.
No, I'll give you the sources. Excuse me. I'll give you the sources.
The Mufti of Jerusalem, al-Husseini, said we will never accept it, and then he moved to Germany and lived with Adolf Hitler. That's the truth. The Mufti of Jerusalem, who was the leader,
let me give you the sources.
Let
me give you the sources.
No, let me ask
pure
you.
fraudulence. It's
What do you
not
mean?
true. The Mufti of Jerusalem was a Nazi, and he rejected it, and they all followed him. He was a Nazi, correct?
No, he did.
He was a Nazi. The Mufti of Jerusalem was a Nazi.
He wasn't a Nazi. He shook hands with Hitler.
No, he went to live with Hitler.
I don't know if
he went to live with Hitler.
I don't know if he lived with him.
Forgot about that.
No, I don't know if he lived with him.
He moved to Germany.
You know this is all completely unwatchable,
No,
right?
I know. But
People at home are just going, what is the
answer-
matter with these two guys?
Can
What
we
is
do
the
one
matter
minute
with
each?
you
Why
guys?
He wants my nation
Why
not
don't
to
you- why
exist,
can't you
and
just
I
try
want
and
my
have
nation to
some-
exist.
Why can't you try and have some civilized dialogue?
No, because I'm answering his questions.
You
but he's
can't.
not letting me speak.
Neither of you can.
Okay, so here's what I'm saying. I'm not interrupting him. I'm saying...
You didn't interrupt me.
You've both done it to each other the entire show.
Okay, here's what I'm saying. In 1936 and 1937, you have the Peel. He said, what's the source? The source is the Encyclopedia of Palestine. So the source is the cablegram, which you can find on the UN website in 1947. I'll tell you the days. On the 15th of May, 1948, which is when one day after the State of Israel was established, according to the UN website, which you can find on the public records, a primary source material, that the Arab League said that we consider the conclusions of the Peel report as acceptable. And
In 1948, they said that? 5 Arab nations invaded Israel the next day in the War of Independence.
Great. Let me tell you why.
1% of the entire Israeli population were murdered by the Arab armies.
Fine.
Did you just say they accepted the state of Israel? Did you really just say that?
I did say that. I said that.
You just said that in 1948 the Arabs accepted the state of Israel.
I'm giving you sources.
Does this show have any credibility at all?
Let me give you sources.
You just answered it.
Can I give you sources?
That's what you're there for.
The sources that I'm presenting
My name's Shmuley.
the sources that I'm presenting you is as follows. Yes, you're right. Of course, there was a war in 1948.
5 Arab nations.
5 Arab nations, only 3 of them crossed the border, according to Rashid in his book, 100-Year War, which I can recommend to you.
And
other books as well, Albert Horaini and others, secondary source material. But the primary source material is this. In 1947, undoubtedly, it's on the UN website, you can find that the Arab League, they accepted the conclusions of the Peel Commission that took place in 1936, 1937. By the way,
years later?
You said all this.
No, 1940. In 1940.
What about me giving you an example?
Hold on.
This is all getting the weeds. Let me take you to the mid-90s, right?
Sure.
The mid-90s, there was a deal,
93,
which was the proper deal,
93,
right? And Arafat at the last minute walked away.
That's false.
Well, the source is Bill Clinton, who done the deal with him.
The source is Dennis Ross. And let me tell you something.
Bill Clinton says in his memoirs,
Bill
My Life,
Clinton
he
makes
says, I
it
told
very clear.
Yasser
Can I
Arafat
answer?
that you made
Go
me
first,
a
go first.
failure.
Arafat agreed the deal with Bill Clinton and then reneged on the deal.
Correct.
Can I answer? That's wrong. That's wrong.
Looking back,
That's wrong.
it's not wrong.
Can I answer?
It's not wrong, Mohammed. And looking back,
you have to give me a chance to respond.
Let me finish my question to you. And looking back on it, I would simply say, when you look at the entire history of this conflict,
but let me respond to that, please.
That was the moment when real peace could have been achieved.
That's wrong. Let me tell you why. Okay? Let me tell you why. And you can both listen to this very carefully and take notes and check me, fact check me.
Just answer the question.
No, go ahead and fact check me. In 1993, you had the Oslo Accords. There was 2 signatories, as you know, Arafat and Rabin, and both of them got the Peace Prize for that. You know that. Everyone knows that, except
And Shimon
Yes.
Pardon?
Peres
Peres, of course. But I'm saying the Prime Minister and Arafat at the time they signed it. You agree, yes? You wrote in your book. Up until 2000, there were what you call peace conferences that took place. Taba 1, Taba 2, etc., etc. You agree? Everyone agrees. All right. In 2000, this is what you're talking about, not 93. Because 93, Arafat...
93 was Oslo 1. 95 was Oslo 2.
No, I know. He's talking about...
2000 was Yasser Arafat, Bill Clinton.
Give me a second.
I'm talking about the period when
He's talking about walked away.
No,
when Arafat and Bill
Camp
Clinton...
David, correct.
That whole
David,
period
correct.
when Arafat and Clinton
yes.
were negotiating and they finally got to a point...
No, he's right. He's saying that he's right because he's saying that in 2000, the Camp David
They went to
summit...
Camp David.
Yes,
correct.
that summit,
okay,
yes.
excellent. Now, you see, from 1993 up until 2000,
Yes.
you had these peace conferences. Everyone agrees, okay?
Yes.
In 2000...
And the White River Accords, which is signed by Netanyahu, by the way.
No,
that's the period I'm talking about.
In a second. He was against this whole thing from the
No,
beginning.
he signed the White River Accords.
Let me come to you. 2000 is what you're talking about, walking away. Let me tell you some sources. I'll give you Israeli source. Because I know Dennis Ross is what do you call it? He's a biased source, right-wing, Zionist, whatever. I'll give you another Zionist source. His name is...
What's the point of this,
His name is Ben Ommi. He's Ben Ami.
What's the point of this?
Ben Ami mentioned that the deal that was struck in 2000, he wouldn't accept it himself if he was a Palestinian. That's what he said in his words. In his memoirs. Number one. Number two is, if you consider what happened...
I don't know who Ben Ami is. He seems to be the most
check it out. Check it out. Google it.
He could be a columnist.
He's not insignificant. He was part of the Accords. No, let me, please.
You know what? It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter, because you're saying they walked away. It's not... That's according to one source.
I've read Bill Clinton's biography.
But
he tells the whole
he's
story.
getting it from Dennis Ross. He's getting it from Dennis Ross.
No, he was there.
I believe Bill Clinton.
No, he's getting it...
Okay, let me just be clear. Bill Clinton and Ehud Barak offered Arafat 97% of the West Bank, Judea, and Samaria. Wait.
So
and not only did Arafat not accept the deal, Arafat didn't even counter. He left without countering. And then when Arafat was leaving and he shook Bill Clinton's hand, this is the story that Bill Clinton tells in his book, My Life, he shook his hand and he said, Mr. Clinton, you're a great man. And then Clinton looked him in the eye and said, I'm not a great man. I'm a failure. And you have made me one.
Correct.
So you both of you are going to one source.
No, wait. But then let's get...
Orientalist.
It gets better. It gets better.
I'm giving you multiple sources.
It was widely reported.
It gets better. In 2008...
You're wrong, Mohammed.
How am I wrong? Give me your source.
It was Arafat.
The source is the president of the United States.
He's biased like
you don't care.
Arafat walked away from the best deal
that's wrong. That's wrong.
In the whole
Let me explain something.
In my estimation...
Do you believe Forbes magazine?
Let me respond.
Do you believe Forbes magazine that Arafat died billionaire?
Can we make it civil?
That?
Make it civil.
Maybe Arafat didn't want an end to the...
Are you scared of my response?
Are you scared? I don't think so.
Great,
you use the word scared a lot.
Okay, don't run away. Let me respond. Okay,
run away?
Don't run away. 1990.
I'm right here, Mohammed.
Okay, great.
Right here.
So
I'll get closer to you if you allow me to.
Stop shouting, Rabbi Shmuley.
93, as we said, there was all these accords from 93 to 2000. Now, in what were the contentions? Let me tell you what the contentions were on the Oslo Accords. Number one, Jerusalem. Number two, the settlements. Number three, the occupied territories. Number four, the borders. That's what they were mentioning. Yeah.
You forgot the refugees, which is the most contentious.
Yeah, sorry, refugees.
You
correct,
forgot that completely.
Okay, the refugees, correct. Which is the right to return law, and we know this apartheid anyway. But anyways,
no, it's not apartheid. Every country in Europe allows people with ancestry
You have a point, Mohammed.
Okay, I do have a point, which is as follows.
What is it?
They divided the areas into area A, B, and C. Okay.
That was Oslo 2 and 95.
Okay, yeah, sure. So what I'm saying is, in that time, the question is who was treacherous to the agreement? Because we know that, as you know, you condemned the settlements. That was part of the Oslo Accords.
No. The people who were treacherous was Arafat, who was giving the terrorists money to kill Jews. 1,000 Jews died, which is the equivalent here in Britain of 30,000 people being killed in terror attacks.
All right.
Can I ask Mamba one question, please? You said Oslo 1, Oslo 2. May I ask you one question?
I don't know if I want you to ask me any question.
Well, you don't have to answer. But
so this is the point. This is a myth.
How much of the Palestinian population in the West Bank, as you call it, is controlled right now by the Palestinian Authority? What percentage of the Palestinians are under Mahmoud Abbas? You won't answer. You don't know, do you?
None of it, because all of it is IDF.
He doesn't even know. No.
Answer
How many are controlled?
None of it.
Not according to Mahmoud Abbas.
No.
You know the answer is?
All of it is controlled by
97%.
Okay, here's what we're going to do.
97%.
Do
you know what it's like?
I'm going to end the show by you both having a minute, uninterrupted, to summarise, right?
Let him go first, it's no problem.
How you think we move on from here. Because clearly anyone watching this is going to see two completely intractable sides, right? This is what I see on Twitter all day long.
Right.
I see people on the Israeli side and on the pro-Palestinian side, and they scream at each other all day long, right? They say some things that are right, some things that are wrong. You're part of that as well. Whatever. There's this kind
You'll get you involved in it.
Well, you both said to me before we sat down, I don't want to speak out
absolve himself.
Speak out of turn, but you both said to me independently.
So now it's the two of us ganging up on him.
Well,
finally,
you both said to me before we started, you said that the American Jewish community were very pleased with what I'd done on this show.
They are.
And you said that the Muslim world pleased with what I'd done on the show. And I took that as a perfect extrapolation of what we've been trying to achieve, which is giving both sides a voice and a platform. And
so let me do my minute.
What has not worked is bringing you together like this, because actually it's been an ear-thumping, screaming match. So you're now going to get a minute each to summarise, right?
You can go
and
first.
in the summary, I want to see if we can at least pretend to be constructive here, right?
Okay.
Because the world needs this somehow to end.
Okay.
So, Rabbi Shmuley, you go first.
First of all, Mohammed, thank you very much for wearing the Israeli colors. Thank you for your support of the Jewish state. We greatly appreciate it. I should have done the same. Secondly, I'm sorry you wouldn't shake my hand. I will shake your hand anytime, because I do believe what Pierce said. We have to have peace and harmony going forward. It's a shame that you said no. Third, peace will come when my Arab brothers and sisters who are the green on this map accept that tiny little thing that I'm covering with my finger, that tiny little thing called Israel. And when they understand that Israel is not the Jewish homeland, Israel is actually the great Arab hope. If our Arab brothers and sisters get the economic prosperity of Israel, the rights for women, the rights for freedom of assembly, to criticize their governments without fear, the way the people in Hamas, in Gaza would be murdered by Hamas, let alone in Palestinian Authority, they'd be thrown in jails. Israel's the great hope. Let me just say this. Islam is a great world religion. It created the world's first universities. It introduced agricultural reforms in Europe under Sultan Akbar in India 400 years before Europe. You had Al-Razi, who introduced medical reforms 600 years before the
All right.
And if we return to that kind of advance, not the Islam that is being advocated by Mohammed Hijab, which is antiquated and dark ages, then we will have peace.
Okay.
So God bless my Muslim brothers and sisters, and I will shake your hand anytime.
Mohammed, a minute for you.
As I said before, and I'll say it again, justice is a prerequisite for peace. If this was the case that it was South Africa and both nations had a long and known history with each other, Israel and South Africa, and there's a book called The Secret Alliance that you can read for your further information. If this was South Africa and the blacks were kicked out of their country, they were kicked out of their country by the whites, like the Nakba, 700,000 Palestinians were kicked out, and then they had the audacity to talk about peace, nobody would be accepting it. The apartheid laws of South Africa are the same, effectively, as the apartheid laws of Israel. You're not allowed to come back to the country unless you are of a specific ethnicity which meets the requirement for apartheid. They're 100-to-1 ratio of being killed in Gaza. This seems to be acceptable to Shmuley, unholy Shmuley. It seems to be acceptable to him.
It's a good rhyme.
Not acceptable.
It's a very good rhyme. At least a little bit of comedy.
It's not acceptable to me. It's not acceptable to the people. When we see these images, it's absolutely not acceptable. So peace is just as a requirement for peace.
By the way, it's Shmuley, not Shmuley. It doesn't rhyme.
You don't get to go all over.
Doesn't matter what your name is.
Look, I found that quite a dispiriting hour. I've got to be honest with you.
Doesn't matter.
I thought both of you let yourselves down. I gave you a great opportunity here.
We gave you an
to try
opportunity
and
as well, players. Come on.
Well, fine. You can say what you like about me. I don't care.
We gave you an audience. You gave us an audience.
It's fine. But it's not just about the audience. It's about a big audience, which we're getting for all these shows. About a big audience seeing people try to come together.
Don't be sanctimonious, though.
Nobody here has seen you even try to come together.
Why would
Pierce,
dispiriting to me.
Pierce,
what can I do?
Pierce, with all due respect, since
try harder.
I believe.
Apartheid.
You know, I believe.
Do you agree with apartheid?
I believe in
Try harder, as Nelson Mandela did when he came out.
Apartheid.
Nelson Mandela could have gone down this road when he came out of prison after 27 years.
And they called him a terrorist then. They called him a terrorist.
No, wait a minute.
Yeah, they did.
He could have come out of prison and he could have taken the path of vengeance.
He did. He was violent.
Instead,
what are you talking about?
He took the path of peace.
He was violent.
He took the path
of reconciliation.
What are you talking about?
When he came out of prison, he took the path of peace.
He was violent. And you called him a terrorist. The British called him a terrorist.
I take constructive criticism, and I will think about what you said.
And Mandela was pro-Palestine.
But I will tell you.
He was against
But I will tell you. If you bring two people on to a debate, and you're saying that we let you
don't give him lessons.
Our audience.
Don't give him lessons.
Okay.
Don't give him lessons.
When you bring two
He's a very successful man.
He's a very successful man. And you allow.
I'll be quiet, man.
One to bring up.
Don't give them lessons.
Stuff that is so just embarrassing, like people's sex lives.
You've written 30 books on sex.
No, I did not.
Yes, you did.
I did. No,
sex? No?
I'm proud of my books on sex, but this is a debate about the Middle East.
I don't care about your sex lives, either of you. All right.
Seem to be really interested
That's
in mine,
it from me. Whatever you're up to.
We'll talk later.
Keep it uncensored. Good night.